mobile is Nokia. As opposed to an unbranded phone, it should get you a higher price and therefore higher profits. And when you capitalize the profits, you arrive at the value of the brand. It is so for all of this. You may talk of a great drug, and that is one method. The second is the method which we call relief from royalty. What would you pay in terms of royalty if you were to use that particular license, patent, etc.? And we capitalize those. So I won't get into the complications of it, but I think a very important point I would like to make in terms of challenges is in the pharmaceutical space, in many places, even in the technology space, the distinction between research and development, it makes a huge difference. All research costs are expensed. You never know when it will ultimately lead into a product. You can start capitalizing, as we say, development costs, but there are rules. And what are those rules? A, it should be the technical feasibility should be established. The ability to complete and sell that intangible or use that intangible should be established. Then there should be the intent to complete and use the intangible. You should have the ability also includes the resources. There should be a market. You could do great research, but if there is no market, it's irrelevant again. And the ability to measure expenditure. So all in all, the point I'm trying to drive home here is, in accounting, the rules are so watertight that to finally bring that intellectual property into the books is not easy. The second part of it is the challenge of expensing, charging it off, amortization. The value changes from time to time. A newer product comes in, your existing product is worthless. Even drugs develop resistance and they lose value. So the amortization is another important thing. And in today's intangible world, there's so many new intangibles. And if I just move away from intellectual property and give you some illustrations, take for instance, all of you watch these cricket matches in India, so popular, Indian Premier League. You pay amounts to the Board of Control for Cricket. You have a right to use the name, Deccan Chargers, Chennai Super Kings. That has a value. What is that value? If it doesn't win the tournament, the value erodes. How do you do that? In football, players are bought and sold. That's also an intangible asset. That's all in this subject of measuring intangible assets. The one distinction which the international standards would make to the Indian landscape, if and when introduced, is that you can revalue these intangibles from time to time if you apply the international standards. Indian standards don't permit revaluation. And lastly, there are some of these which have an infinite life. There are some brands which have been in existence for 60, 100 years. You don't depreciate them. It's almost like land. Land is a non-depreciable, tangible asset. There are intangibles also. The sum and substance at the end of the day, what I would like to in this short drive home the point is, whilst you're focusing on the legality of it, you also need to reflect on the commercial aspects of it. And a lot of business transactions, acquisition of businesses and selling of businesses, have happened because of accounting rules which enable you to record an asset only when you acquire a business. For instance, self-generated assets. I spend a lot of money on developing a brand, in developing a logo. That's not an asset because it's self-generated. But if I acquire through an acquisition of a business or pay for it, the rules permit you to record an asset. So a lot of transactions happen, and transactions many times fail because of issues on pricing. Whether in process research and development, where do we draw the line? Can I reflect that as an asset? Will it reflect value? As opposed to the fact that yes, there is something valuable, but if it can't be recorded and valued, I won't pay for it because it does affect me at the end of the day. So to end this 15-minute, accounting is as important, valuation is as important as much as the legal aspects of it. Thank you very much for this opportunity.